Hey, everybody. Fascinating chat today as we dive into the world of AI ops, predictive analytics, and the future of IT operations with InsightFinder AI. Helen, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Well, thanks for being here. Really fascinating and timely topic. And before that, maybe share a bit about InsightFinder's origin story and, where the company began and what problem you set out to solve those many years ago.
Yeah, absolutely. So pleasure to be here. And so we started actually AI journey almost 25 years ago.
Wow.
Interesting enough. So I published my first PhD research papers using neural networks back in 2001. At that time, we were using like a three-tier neural networks to predict user behaviors. And so use that to actually speed up the video streaming performance. So fast forward to basically InsightFinder. We started InsightFinder as basically anomaly detection solutions for many large-scale distributed infrastructures, particularly cloud infrastructures. So back then, so there's a lot of cloud actually has many outages, and when that outages happens, impact a lot of people. And so one of the industry leaders at that time is Google, and so they reach out to us, and so trying to actually apply one of our anomaly detection algorithms in Google Cloud infrastructure, and we tested algorithms in Google Cloud, and then we see that we can detect anomalies much more effectively, and also can be scaled at Google, right? And then Google scale, basically. So that's the starting point of InsightFinder, because we saw these anomaly detection algorithms work in real world. And so then we basically launched the InsightFinder based on this technology. And then since then, we have been developing the AI-based solutions for IT observability as well as AI systems recently, for the past 9 years.
Fantastic. So fast forward to today, it's a very crowded market. How do you see your unique, position with other predictive analytics platforms and AI ops platforms out there? What's would you say is unique about your approach and your technology?
Yeah, absolutely. So nowadays it's fascinating. Like everybody knows neural networks, everybody knows AI. Back in 25 years ago, when I talk about the machine learning neural networks, I think even very few computer scientists know that. So it's very different, and so it's a good thing. And but on the other hand, it's very noisy, right? So a lot of people think AI is just like a panacea, and where you just whatever problem you have, you just like put standard AI technology and it magically work, right? And so that's the kind of pitfalls and a lot of problems with other vendors. They have like existing monitoring solutions, then they trying to apply standard machine learning algorithms, whether it's deep learning or clustering algorithms, and now more recently LM, and to the whatever machine data they have, and they thought it just worked magically for a customer, right? So the reality is it does not, right? So the reason is that basically the machine behaviors and also machine data has very unique characteristics from other data you need to analyze, right? So large language model works for natural language, right? So human language, not machine data, not time series data, and certainly not like efficient, right? So when you analyze like large amount of like log data, most of them are basically noise. So the unique part of InsightFinder is that we don't actually just take existing AI algorithms and then just brute force apply to the problem we need to deal with here in the IT system. Instead, we start from beginning. That's start from my research, right? So in this area, so has been in the past 20 years, and the research funded by National Science Foundation. And so we basically find out the existing AI algorithms does not work well for the machine data we need to analyze. So we basically not trying to like, fit algorithm, fit data to algorithm. We're trying to change algorithm for the data, right? Because we don't believe we can change data, but we should be able to innovate in algorithm. So InsightFinder has a set of patented, unique machine learning algorithms that actually invented specifically for machine data, right? So like, high fluctuations, high dimensionality, very, complex correlations, those kind of things. Typically, traditional AI algorithm doesn't work well.
Got it. Fascinating. And let's talk about your customers. Big challenges they're facing these days with IT operations, multi-cloud, getting super complex, cybersecurity, obviously, doing more with less on the workforce side. How do you see yourself helping them these days?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a fascinating, like how things change. And so like, IT operations, those our heroes actually has been really, they have been actually very stressful, like working nonstop to, kind of put out files, and so like trying to fix all kinds of problems. So this is the, the issue becomes worse and worse, right? And so especially with the current like AI technology, and so not only we need to worry about the infrastructure problem, we need to also worry about data problem, we need to also worry about the model problem. And so so traditional tools give you like very fragmented view. And so what we saw in our customers, and they basically struggle with this point solutions which give them like different signals, and they are basically drawn by millions of alerts each day, and they have to spend a lot of time trying to figure out what's the root cause, how do I fix the problem quickly. And most of the time basically those true problems are not detected until their customers call them. So there's a lot of challenges facing companies, and not only in big enterprise, but also fast-pacing AI startup companies, and they need to meet up their requirements from customers. And so how to actually make sure their infrastructure, application, and AI systems running smoothly is a huge challenge. So what we do here is that trying to help them to focus on their business impacting problems, and get the kind of like the tedious checking and the problem discovery and the root cause analysis, like replace that with machines, right? So machine can run 24/7, they can do analysis 24/7, and they can actually do the correlation quickly. Yeah.
Brilliant. So talk us through a typical implementation of the platform, from initial maybe assessment to deploying in production. What does that journey look like? How long does it take?
Yeah, so I would say like, if you look at like 3-4 years ago, and it's pretty complex to set up the kind of monitoring system, right? Because at that time there's different monitoring protocols, and people actually struggle with this like, non-uniform data formats. But nowadays, it's actually pretty easy to set up, those monitoring systems. We start to see like everything is converged to standard protocol and format, right? With the popularity of OpenTelemetry, Prometheus, so those are open source tools, and so people start to actually, be able to deploy those monitoring tools pretty easily. And then for it's also good news for the AI-driven solutions like InsightFinder, because when we see those data, we basically have standard out-of-box integrations with them. So it's pretty fast to spin up our AI engine. So it's built on top of Kubernetes. So so if you actually have the Kubernetes environments already ready, and you can spin up our engine within like 30 minutes. So that's pretty quick setup, and because we're doing unsupervised machine learning, So the system can start to learn right away. We can also bootstrap the AI engine with historical data. So generally speaking, you can see some insights pretty quickly within a few days. Yeah.
Brilliant. So of course the ultimate goal is to move from predictive or reactive rather to predictive IT operations and systems. Are we there yet with InsightFinder? Is that possible, and how much change can you implement on day one in terms of moving from firefighting to proactive management?
Yeah. So I would say like we are getting there much closer than a few
Mm,
years ago. And so what we see with our customers, and we can help them to actually prevent about like 50% problems just within the first few months, right? Because we also see a lot of recurrent problems, and because people being reactive also means that you are blindly recover outages without knowing the root cause. And so that's the reason why the recurrent problems coming back. And so with InsightFinder, because we can accurately localize the root cause, so even we don't actually make a prediction in the first time, because we know what's the root cause, they can actually start to take the preventive actions to avoid this kind of issue from happening in the future. So this proactive is basically a whole kind of life cycle thing, and so it's also will help the development team to actually put in the right checks and to configure their systems, right? So for example, like with one of our customers, we find their timer is not correctly set. So this basically those things can help them to actually fix the problem in the root. Yeah.
brilliant. And are there certain industries that might benefit the most from AI ops? I mean, you must work across many industries, but any that you're seeing a lot of traction in?
Yeah. So we basically believe any companies, they are actually running mission critical services, and they have basically real time requirements from their customers. They have a high quality of service expectation from their customers, can all benefit from the InsightFinder solution. So some of the sectors we have been working with, including basically e-commerce, telecom, and also finance institutions. So those are the sectors we saw like lots of complexity, real-time requirements, and then
Mm,
basically high basically quality of service requirements from their customers.
brilliant. Um, let's talk about the human element, in terms of usability and um, learning curve. What are you seeing in terms of adoption and actual usage on the ground with IT teams?
Yeah, so that's definitely some challenges at the beginning, right? So I think it takes time for human to actually adapt to new paradigm, because people get used to, um, doing kind of reactive operation, and changing from reactive to proactive. It could be a big change for some organizations. But once basically people see the benefit, they definitely start to actually see the value, right? So like one of our customers, like they were telling us is that before they don't know when their customers suffer, and now basically whenever they have some bugs or issues happen, InsightFinder will notify them first, right? And so they know InsightFinder will catch all the problems, so that's a peace of mind for them. They don't need to worry about, and the incident outage will happen during mid of night, right? And as they know, basically they can actually get early warnings from InsightFinder, and they can actually know the root cause and fix the problem quickly. So that's basically a huge change from improvement from the past kind of firefighting situation. So it's a paradigm change, but I think people start to see the the value, and then they will embrace the changes. Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. And without picking any favorite children, care to talk about any, success stories or anecdotes you've seen with customers in the platforms, any sort of real world use cases?
Yeah, absolutely. So, in the past few months, we are very proud to work with Visa to help them to
Mm,
monitor their, AI platforms, right? And so we partner with Visa for the past 3 years. And so Visa is basically a leading platform to actually monitor all the payments transactions. And so they provide the fraud detection, security attack detection for their customers. And so we basically help them to monitor all those models, make sure those models work well, especially in the past holiday season, right? So we are pretty proud to help them to actually run those models successfully, right? So there's problems happen, then basically we can help them detect the problems quickly and fix the problems quickly. So in the past, like some problems are not detected until, weeks later, but now we can help them detect basically any model drift problems within a minute, and any model availability drop within a minute, right? So that's a huge improvement from the, traditional kind of reliability monitoring solutions. Yeah. It also helped them to actually cut down the resource needs, right? So used to actually have to run lots of backups and have different redundancy. Now, basically, we have, more resilient, hyperscaler architecture. Yeah.
brilliant. And you have deep roots in academia, I see, going back a couple of decades at NC State. You still
Mm-hmm.
manage to participate on the academic side and teach and or mentor. Tell me about your work on that end.
Yeah, absolutely. So funny enough, I'm currently teaching operating systems and distribute systems, and so that has been my research passion from day one, right? So to build reliable distributed systems for everybody, and so my academic life is definitely the root. So InsightFinder is built on top of my academic research, and also at the same time I feel very lucky to be able to actually see the real world impact of the research, and also by talking to a lot of customers, I learn the real world and know what's the need, and then basically bring back some of the problems to the academia world as well. So very happy to see the gap between academia world and the industry world become smaller. And so before I start this, right, so InsightFinder, like as well as other companies, AI ops companies, and so they start to become popular around 2015 2016. But if you look at this AI ops concepts, it's actually long started in academia world. It's called autonomic computing. So there's even
Mm,
academic conference on that. So I was actually program chair for that conference for several years, and so that was actually almost 10 years ahead of the real world in academia world. And but nobody knows that, right? So I'm also very surprised, like how people still have to do the thresholding and to set thresholds, set policies in order to detect the problems. And now we have the AI, we have the unsupervised machine learning. You can actually detect those anomalies much more easily and effectively. So, but a lot of people don't know the technology. Yeah.
yeah, fascinating. I didn't know either. So looking forward, what's next, both for Insight Finder and some of the broader AI ops opportunities out there? What are you excited about and looking forward to over the course of the next few months and year?
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely exciting time. And so we are seeing two things happening. One is basically leverage the large language model and combined with basically traditional ML techniques we invented. And we can actually help customers not only detect the problems, but also generate those playbooks automatically, help them to actually understand how to fix the problems much more easily. And so you can actually see the playbooks recommendations from our AI engine. And then you can actually trigger those playbooks just automatically with a click a button. So we are seeing a lot of automations that can be done in this way. So hopefully that will save a lot of time for our customers. So that's one trend we are seeing. And the other trend we are seeing is that as more and more people start to adopt like large language model technology, and so you need to actually be able to have capability to monitor and to understand those LM behavior, right? Because if you make your critical business decisions based on those outputs, and you want to make sure those LMs give you correct answers, right? Unfortunately, LM is not perfect, right? So, and that's the basic fundamental thing for any statistical machine learning technology, including GenAI technology. It's not actually 100% accurate, right? It's a statistical machine learning technology. So you always have chance to have mistakes. And so currently for the LM technology, I would say like the accuracy is still not, ideal, right? So like many LM models has basically 80%, 85% accuracy. So you need to be able to actually know when those LMs give you wrong answer, right? And so, for example, if you ask a ChatGPT, like, what is Windows error code 14F? So they will give you complete wrong answers, right? And so, but you don't know, right? And so the problem is that they don't tell you, I don't know. They always give you answer, right? They made up some answer. So that's basically the LM hallucination problem. So you need to have a way to detect them and to correct them, right? So that's what we actually help our customer to monitor. So we develop those observability solutions for those AI systems and as well. Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, congratulations on all the success and best of luck over the course of the year. Onwards and upwards. Thanks, Helen.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah.
All right. Take care. And thanks, everyone, for listening.